Hello, welcome to There We Go English. Do you want to improve your English? Awesome. You can improve your English while learning knowledge. Are you ready? Before we start, leave a comment to cheer me up and don't forget to like and subscribe. Today's podcast topic is the morning routine. Listen to this every day for a week and your listening will improve. Let's get started.
Welcome, deep divers. You know that feeling the alarm goes off and boom, you're either like bracing yourself, ready to slam that snooze button maybe 5 times.
We've all been there.
Or maybe, just maybe, you feel that little hum of possibility.
Yeah.
You know, that fresh start feeling. Mornings.
Yeah.
They're this really powerful, often kind of overlooked window of opportunity for all of us.
They really are.
It's not just about, dragging yourself out from under the duvet. They're kind of like the silent architects building your whole day. Okay, let's really unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into unlocking your day, the science and strategies of a powerful morning routine.
It's so true, isn't it? That universal morning thing, whether it's a huge struggle or a really nice, calm start, it's something we all get.
Right.
And what's really, really fascinating here is realizing that mornings are way more than just a list of tasks we kind of rush through.
Right.
They are actually a critical foundation, not just for how productive we are right now, but for our mental well-being in the long run and, ultimately for our overall success.
It's huge.
So we're going to go beyond just looking at what successful people do in the morning. Instead, we'll dig into the really deep why. Why does it actually work? We'll meticulously break down the complex neuroscience and psychology behind it all.
Getting into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. And then, this is the important bit, we'll translate all that complex stuff into practical things you can actually do, things that you, our listener, can tailor for your own unique life.
That's key, the tailoring part.
Absolutely. And we've pulled from a really diverse set of sources for this. We've got everything from solid scientific studies and expert advice right through to personal stories and even the super detailed morning rituals of some, pretty famous people.
Oh, interesting. Celebrity routines.
Yeah, some surprising ones. It gives this rich kind of multi-layered view. The idea is to give you a truly comprehensive picture, something way beyond those surface level tips you see everywhere.
And that is exactly why we're diving in today. Our mission for you, the listener, is really to move past those generic, 5 tips for a better morning articles that honestly, they often leave you feeling a bit,
Yeah, they don't always stick.
right. We want you to walk away with not just like facts, but real inspiration and a practical toolkit, something you can use to custom build a morning routine that genuinely serves your brain and your life.
Personalized power.
Exactly. This deep dive should equip you with the insights to really approach your mornings with intention, to transform them into this powerful springboard for your whole day. Imagine like fostering sustained well-being, hitting your goals more easily, feeling more in control,
That sounds pretty good.
all by mastering those first few crucial hours. It's really about composing your day, instead of just reacting to whatever it throws at you. So, okay, let's start right at the very beginning of the day, literally the second you wake up. When I first started looking into this, I was actually pretty surprised by the chemical dance happening inside us.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. There's this whole symphony playing out in your brain and body, and it's run by some pretty incredible neuroscience. It's so much more than just, open your eyes. It's like this finely tuned chemical cocktail getting ready to kickstart everything.
You absolutely nailed it there. Your brain actually has its own sophisticated natural morning coffee. It's called cortisol.
Cortisol. Isn't that the stress hormone?
Well, yes, we often link it with stress, and it does play a role there. But first thing in the morning, right when you wake up, it acts as this natural, really powerful booster. It naturally peaks about, say, 30 to 45 minutes after you wake.
Okay.
And this surge, it's biochemically designed to sharpen your alertness, to boost your focus. The really key thing here is when you understand this and learn how to kind of leverage this natural process, you can seriously supercharge your wakefulness, often without immediately needing, external stuff like that first cup of coffee.
Wow.
You're working with your biology, not sort of fighting against it.
That's a total game changer for a lot of people, that idea of boosting alertness naturally. But it does make me wonder, if cortisol is also linked to stress, how do we make sure we're using this natural coffee in a good way? Not like accidentally making ourselves more stressed by, say, rushing around or trying to cram too much in right away.
That's a brilliant point and a really crucial question.
And what other chemicals are in this morning mix?
Right. So the key to using cortisol positively is really about timing and avoiding immediate perceived threats. If you wake up kind of slowly, intentionally, and you dodge those immediate stressors like frantic checking of emails or news, that cortisol spike helps with alertness.
Okay.
But if you wake up straight into chaos and immediate demands, yeah, then it can contribute to that feeling of stress. And you're totally right. Other neurochemicals are absolutely playing in this orchestra. Dopamine levels, for instance.
The feel-good chemical.
Sort of, yeah, or the motivation chemical. They're getting ready to help you tackle the day's challenges with, like, enthusiasm. Think of dopamine's anticipation setting this positive tone for motivation, for getting started on tasks. It's almost like your brain is paving the way, making you feel ready and engaged before you even take that first step.
That makes sense.
And then there's serotonin, super important for emotional balance, for general well-being. Its levels are particularly responsive to, guess what? Morning light?
Ah, the light thing again?
Yep, morning light exposure and even just simple physical movement. So just by getting some natural light, moving your body a bit, you are literally laying the biochemical foundation for a better mood, a more stable emotional state, and just being more resilient all day long.
It really connects those chemicals to how we actually feel and approach things. And underlying all of this, running the whole show, is our body's internal clock, right? That
Yeah.
famous circadian rhythm.
Precisely. The circadian rhythm is basically your body's master clock. It's this intricate internal timer, and it's regulated mainly by external cues, light being the big one, but also temperature.
Right.
This rhythm has a huge effect on producing and releasing melatonin, that's your sleep hormone, and also that morning cortisol we were just talking about.
So they're linked.
Very tightly. A well-aligned circadian rhythm directly impacts your energy levels, your ability to concentrate, your overall health, everything. Understanding it, and more importantly, trying to align with it, is absolutely key to having what you might call a supercharged morning. It's all about working with your basic biology, optimizing your natural ups and downs, rather than constantly trying to swim against the current.
And it's not just about the immediate kickstart, the chemicals and rhythms setting the day's tone. What's even more mind-blowing is that our consistent choices in the morning can actually, physically reshape our brains over time.
Absolutely. That brings us right into the amazing world of neuroplasticity. That's essentially your brain's incredible ability to adapt, to rewire itself by forming new connections between brain cells, between neurons. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot. Repeating the same tasks consistently in the morning isn't just about building discipline. It literally strengthens those specific neural pathways.
So your pavey roads in your brain.
Kind of, yeah. This process effectively forms new habits, making those things you want to do feel less like a struggle and more automatic, almost effortless over time.
That sounds ideal.
It's a powerful feedback loop, really. You set up the routine, and then the routine literally reshapes your brain, which then makes it easier to stick to the routine. And bonus, it frees up precious mental energy for other things later in the day. Hashtag tag the power of habits and self-discipline.
Okay, so this amazing adaptability of our brains leads us straight into the power of habits and self-discipline. It's not just about what our brains do naturally, but what we actively train them to do, self-discipline. It's not just this vague, hard-to-reach idea, is it? It sounds like a fundamental thing that actively shapes our personal growth.
It truly is fundamental. When you intentionally integrate habits into your daily life, it doesn't just build discipline in a vacuum. It actively reinforces your commitment to your bigger goals, creating this real sense of momentum, of moving forward.
Like compound interest for yourself.
That's a perfect analogy. Compound interest for personal growth. Each small, consistent action adds up over time. It leads to these significant, sometimes almost invisible at first, positive changes that eventually transform your life. It really boils down to consistently showing up for yourself day after day through those deliberate choices.
And a huge piece of being able to build that consistency, that discipline, is really understanding how habits actually work on a deeper level.
Hmm.
I know Charles Duhigg's habit loop concept is like legendary for this. Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely. Duhigg's framework is brilliant because it's so simple yet so powerful. It breaks down habits into 4 core linked parts: cue, routine, reward, and craving.
Okay, cue, routine, reward, craving.
Right. The cue is the trigger. It's what kicks off the behavior. Could be the sound of your alarm clock, maybe the smell of coffee brewing, even just walking into a certain room.
Got it.
The routine is the behavior itself, the action you take. Could be hitting snooze, or maybe it's immediately getting out of bed to meditate.
The action bit.
Exactly. The reward is the benefit you get from doing the routine. Maybe it's those few extra minutes of what feels like sleep, or the jolt from caffeine, or maybe it's that satisfying feeling after a good workout.
Makes sense.
And the craving, this is the engine driving the whole loop. It's the underlying desire. In the morning, it's often that deep-seated craving for more sleep, right? Or maybe it's the opposite, a craving for feeling alert, energetic, ready to go.
The craving's the driver.
Totally. By really identifying these 4 pieces in your own habits, you gain this incredible power. You can consciously build new, positive habits, and you can strategically change the old, unhelpful ones. Like, if your cue is the alarm and the craving is more sleep, understanding that lets you consciously redirect the routine away from snoozing towards something better.
That's fantastic because it takes something that feels totally automatic, almost unconscious, and makes it visible, something you can actually dissect and then, manage. And I've heard that some habits can have this massive ripple effect, right? They spread good stuff to other parts of your life.
Yes, exactly. Those are what Duhigg calls keystone habits.
Keystone habits.
These are specific habits that, once you get them going consistently, don't just exist on their own. They trigger this cascade of positive changes in other, sometimes totally unrelated areas of your life.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you successfully start a consistent morning exercise routine. That might not just improve your physical health. It could lead to you making better food choices all day. Maybe you focus better at work. You feel more capable overall. Maybe you even sleep better at night.
Wow, all from one habit.
Potentially, yes. One powerful morning keystone habit can genuinely influence tons of others. Its benefits reach way beyond just the morning itself, creating this amazing upward spiral, this virtuous cycle.
And in keeping all this going, breaking old habits, building new ones, sticking with these keystone things, that takes fuel, right? Not just physical fuel, but like mental, internal drive.
You've hit the absolute core of sticking with it. That's where motivation and your mindset become completely critical. It's really important to understand both types of motivation. There's intrinsic motivation. That's the powerful internal drive, doing something because you find it satisfying or enjoyable, or it aligns with your purpose.
Right.
And then there's extrinsic motivation. That's the external stuff, the rewards or pressures, like hitting a specific target or avoiding getting chewed out.
Okay.
Both can play a role in fueling self-discipline. But crucially, fostering a growth mindset is absolutely vital here.
Growth mindset, meaning?
Meaning you see setbacks not as like final failures, but as really valuable chances to learn, to adjust, to improve. This shift in perspective helps you push through challenges, learn from things that go wrong, and ultimately keep your routine going even when life inevitably gets messy. It's about playing the long game, and knowing progress isn't always a straight line. #tag the detrimental impact of morning disruptions.
Okay, so we've established how incredibly powerful and like literally transformative a well-structured morning can be. It can actually rewire your brain for success. But what happens when that structure gets, knocked off course? It turns out even small, seemingly tiny disruptions can have surprisingly big negative consequences that ripple through your whole day.
That's a really important point to cover. There's actual research on this. A study involving researchers from the University of Wyoming and Texas A&M found solid evidence that disruptions to morning routines, even small ones, can make workers demonstrably less focused and less productive throughout their entire workday.
Wow, less productive all day?
Yeah. This isn't just like a feeling people have. It underscores how vital consistency really is and maybe how fragile our morning balance can be. Our brains really seem to thrive on predictable patterns, and when those patterns get broken, it takes extra mental effort to adapt, and that just drains your cognitive energy.
And it's not just like major disasters that mess things up. What really struck me from that research was how something super small, something many of us wouldn't even think twice about, can throw us off so completely.
Exactly right. That study gave a specific, very relatable example, just missing your regular morning cup of coffee.
No, not the coffee.
I know, right? But even that seemingly minor thing can lead to an employee starting their workday feeling less calm and noticeably more mentally exhausted.
Just from missing coffee. Why?
Well, think about it. Your brain has built up this strong expectation, that cue routine reward loop around the coffee. When that specific reward is suddenly missing, it's not just the lack of caffeine. It's the disruption to a deeply ingrained, maybe even comforting pattern that your brain has learned to rely on to get going.
It's the pattern breaking.
Precisely. It's a subtle yet profound example of how our routines prepare us or fail to prepare us for the mental and emotional demands ahead. And it's not just coffee, right? It could be the specific music you listen to, the order you do things in, maybe even the familiar smell of your shower gel. Our brains genuinely like predictable patterns, and any deviation, however small, can impose this little mental tax. Hashtag tag tag common morning mistakes and how to avoid them.
All right, now that we get the deep why behind mornings being so important and how easily they can get derailed, let's tackle the what not to do. Because honestly, many of us, myself included sometimes, unintentionally sabotage our mornings before they even really get started. That snooze button, for example, it's everywhere, I have to admit. The snooze button and I, we have a history.
So I think most people do.
My partner tried moving my alarm clock across the room, but I swear I've developed this uncanny ability to find it in the dark. What is really happening in our brains when we hit snooze, besides just feeling even more tired?
Ugh, the siren call of the snooze button. It's such a common habit and usually comes from a good place. You're just desperately trying to snag a few more minutes of that precious sleep.
Exactly.
But studies looking at morning alarms and how they affect our thinking show that snoozing actually does the opposite of what you hope. When your alarm first goes off, your body starts prepping for wake up, releasing those morning hormones like cortisol.
Okay.
But then you hit snooze. And you basically trick your body into thinking, oh, okay, false alarm, back to sleep we go. Maybe even starting to dip back into a deeper sleep cycle, only to be jolted out again 9 minutes later.
Ugh.
This fragmented stop-start sleep completely messes with your natural sleep cycles. It actively disrupts your body's attempt to wake up properly and ultimately makes you feel groggier, more disoriented, way more tired, not more rested. You're basically sending confusing mixed signals to your brain's delicate sleep-wake system.
So it's like my body's trying to get up and I keep yelling, just kidding, go back to sleep, over and over. No wonder I feel like a zombie sometimes. What's a simple but actually effective way to break that cycle, especially for us snooze ninjas?
Well, the classic advice is classic for a reason. Put your alarm clock somewhere that physically forces you to get out of bed to shut it off.
Yeah, the across the room trick.
Exactly. That simple act of forced movement can be enough to break the immediate pull of the snooze. But here's the next level. Once you're actually out of bed, don't just turn it off and crawl back in.
Guilty.
Instead, immediately do something else, like walk straight to the window and open the blinds, get that natural light we talked about, or go get a glass of water. Use that initial cortisol burst to your advantage by immediately flowing into the next small, intentional step of your morning, however tiny it is.
That's smart. Connected immediately to the next action. Okay, another huge mistake, one that's become almost like a reflex for so many people, grabbing your phone the second your eyes open.
Oh, this is a massive one in today's world. Huge. Immediately checking social media, scrolling through news headlines, diving into your work email, it can be incredibly anxiety-inducing and mentally draining for so many people.
Tell me about it.
Doing this instantly lets external sources, external demands, and often, let's be honest, negative information dictate your mood and your focus right from the very start of your day. You're essentially handing over control of your emotional state and your mental agenda before you've even had a chance to, like, find your footing, to set your own internal compass for the day.
So you start the day reactive, not proactive.
Exactly. You're reacting to everyone else's priorities instead of setting your own.
And that precious early time,
Yeah.
before the world really wakes up and starts needing things from you,
Mm-hmm.
it just gets sucked up by notifications and other people's stuff, doesn't it?
Precisely. Those early morning hours are potentially this ideal, almost sacred time for self-care, for quiet reflection, for setting your own intentions free from the constant barrage of external demands and digital noise. There's an entrepreneur, Kat Nooney, who talks about making a very conscious effort not to check her phone until she's fully awake, she's done her initial routine, and she feels mentally ready to engage with the day. She wants her brain to boot up naturally, as she says.
Boot up naturally, I like that.
It gives her a clearer, more intentional, self-directed start before she dives into the digital stream. It's really about protecting your mental and emotional space first thing, establishing your own equilibrium before letting the world rush in.
Okay, moving beyond the tech traps. There's another really fundamental mistake a lot of us make, one that hits our physical fuel. Skipping breakfast. We always hear it's the most important meal. But is that still true with things like intermittent fasting being so popular?
That's a really good question, and the science is still pretty compelling. While yes, fasting can have benefits for some people in specific contexts, for the majority of us, after fasting all night while sleeping, deliberately skipping breakfast often leads to immediate negative effects, both physical and mental.
Like,
Well, it can leave you feeling sluggish, foggy-headed. It can make it significantly harder to concentrate on complex tasks. And it can definitely affect your mood, making you more irritable or impatient.
the dreaded hangry feeling.
Exactly. And as nutritionist Wendy Jo Peterson points out, while skipping breakfast isn't inherently bad in isolation for everyone, the problem is it often leads to less healthy choices later. You might overcompensate with excessive snacking, often on sugary or fatty things, which can contribute to weight gain and mess with your blood sugar levels. Your body and brain genuinely need good fuel to perform at their best, especially after that long overnight fast. It's about providing sustainable energy.
So what's the best way to handle breakfast then? It sounds like it's not just about eating anything, but eating the right stuff at the right time to really fuel your day properly.
Spot on. The general recommendation is to eat a balanced meal within about 2 hours of waking up, and the focus should absolutely be on a strategic mix. Protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbohydrates.
Okay, protein, healthy fats, fiber.
Yep. Think about things like whole wheat toast with scrambled eggs and lots of veggies mixed in, or a solid bowl of oatmeal topped with berries, nuts, maybe some chia seeds. These kinds of meals give you sustained energy, they help prevent those sharp blood sugar spikes and crashes, and crucially, they support cognitive function, giving you the focus and mental stamina you need all morning. It's about long burn fuel, not a quick sugar hit that leaves you crashing an hour later.
Gotcha. And finally, let's talk about a mistake that I think a lot of really motivated, well-intentioned people make. This idea of AM overachiever syndrome, basically trying to cram way too much into those first few hours, getting overwhelmed before the day even properly starts.
Oh, this is incredibly common, and it often comes from a good place, right? Wanting to be productive. But it can also stem from procrastinating on the really hard stuff or just this general feeling of needing to do it all right now.
Yeah, that pressure.
There's a philosophy from early Tories that identifies this tendency to avoid the hard work on the hard things in life as a reactive and ultimately not very successful approach. They point out 3 big mistakes people make before breakfast that feed into this. 1, not having a clear plan made the night before. 2, not really focusing on what truly matters amidst all the potential tasks. And 3, trying to do way too many things. That's the core of AM overachiever syndrome. It's basically a recipe for feeling burnt out and constantly behind schedule.
So it's about being strategic and intentional, not just frantically busy. How do we avoid falling into that trap? How do we tackle what's genuinely important without overwhelming ourselves right out of the gate?
It absolutely demands a proactive, really strategic mindset. Instead of that massive, daunting to-do list that just paralyzes you, the advice is to ruthlessly focus. Pick just 3 to 5 crucial tasks for the entire day.
Only 3 to 5, that sounds manageable.
Exactly. And balance through simplicity really champions the most important task, or MIT concept. You might have heard it described vividly as eating your biggest frog first thing in the morning.
Eat the frog, yes.
It means tackling your most urgent, most important, or maybe the task you're dreading the most right away. Do it when your willpower and mental focus are naturally at their peak. This ensures that critical work gets done before distractions pile up, before mental fatigue sets in, or before unexpected things derail your day. It's a really powerful way to guarantee you make genuine progress on what matters most.
Okay, so we've got the science down. We know the common mistakes to avoid. Now, how do we actually build a powerful, mindful morning routine? It feels like it starts with something deeper than just a checklist, right? Like waking up not just to the day, but waking up for something with real intention and purpose.
That's precisely it. The foundation is truly built on intention. Carving out dedicated me time before the rest of the household wakes up is honestly paramount for many people. And this isn't about being selfish, it's really about self-preservation.
Right.
It guarantees you have those precious moments of peace, of calm, of silence. Time for just breathing, for thinking clearly, for purposefully planning out your day. As Balance Through Simplicity points out, this lets you focus entirely on your routine without that background stress of watching the clock because you know others are about to get up or trying to tune out family noise. It's about claiming that essential mental space first.
And that me time implies not rushing, which I know is a huge challenge for many people, especially if you don't consider yourself a morning person. There's almost this unspoken pressure to magically become an early bird.
You're so right. That pressure is very real. Asana really emphasizes how important it is to allow enough time to mentally and physically prepare for the day. And they specifically note this is vital for non-morning people.
Yeah.
It's about being intentional with your wake-up time, making sure you have enough buffer to thoughtfully go through your routine, to consciously develop those new habits, rather than feeling like you're constantly playing catch-up from the second your eyes pop open. It's about the quality of that morning time, not just the quantity or how early it starts.
But for some people, that dedicated me time absolutely translates into getting up early, almost using it as like a strategic weapon for getting ahead, getting focused work done.
Indeed. Waking early can genuinely be framed as an athlete's secret time management weapon. It offers this unique window for deep, focused, uninterrupted work while most of the world is still asleep. Often, it's the quietest time with the fewest distractions.
Like finding hidden hours in the day.
Exactly. Some highly productive people consider it the most valuable practice for getting significant work done. Think of it as accessing this quiet, pristine, distraction-free zone where you can truly concentrate on those high-leverage tasks, using that natural morning focus before the inevitable demands of the day start flooding in.
That sounds incredibly tempting, especially if you have a packed schedule. But I know for so many, consistently waking up early feels like climbing Mount Everest every single day.
Yeah.
What's the absolute must-have, the non-negotiable foundation for making early rising work sustainably?
You've hit the absolute bedrock of it all: sleep. The link is crystal clear and non-negotiable. If you want to consistently wake early, you absolutely must prioritize going to sleep early.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts. The sources we looked at are totally unambiguous about this, trying to survive on, just say, 4 hours of sleep for several days. It inevitably leads to increased stress, chronic fatigue, impaired thinking, and increased irritability and anger. As a guide to better understanding adult sleep put it so perfectly, everything is easier when you've had enough sleep.
So true.
Getting adequate restorative rest isn't a luxury, it's fundamental for your overall health and well-being. You simply cannot cheat your body and brain out of sleep and expect to function optimally, let alone thrive. It's an essential investment in your day and your life.
Okay, so assuming you've managed the sleep part and you're successfully up, even before you think about coffee, what's the very first, almost reflexive thing you should be putting into your body to signal, okay, day has started?
Water. Hydration. Immediately. When you wake up, your body is naturally in a state of mild dehydration after potentially 7, 8, 9 hours without any fluid intake.
Right.
Your brain, which is basically the command center for your entire day, is made up of a shocking 75–80% water. Even mild, prolonged dehydration can actually cause your brain cells to temporarily shrink a bit, which impairs basic bodily functions and, importantly, cognitive functions.
Wow, that's
Shrink. Temporarily, yes. So rehydrating, first thing, is absolutely crucial. It helps with the production of essential hormones and neurotransmitters, contributing to optimal brain function right through the morning. Starting your day by drinking a good-sized glass of water and then continuing to sip water genuinely supports your brain's performance and clarity, as Fluent Health points out. It's such a simple switch, but profoundly effective. Simple, but powerful. Okay, so you're hydrating. What's the next natural step that's absolutely critical for resetting your brain's internal clock, getting it synced up for the day ahead?
morning light exposure.
Right.
Without a shadow of a doubt, getting natural morning light is a cornerstone, like
Yeah.
a non-negotiable piece of any routine truly based on neuroscience.
Why is light so important?
Exposure to that early morning light sends a powerful signal to your brain telling it to immediately dial down melatonin production, that's the sleep hormone. This naturally leads to increased awareness, heightened alertness, and higher energy levels. It is hands down the most potent and easiest way to reset your body's internal clock and get your natural circadian rhythm properly synchronized.
And that helps later, too.
Absolutely. It significantly improves your sleep cycle overall, promoting healthier, more restorative sleep when nighttime comes around. Even just seeing the sunrise, if your situation allows, can really help with this profound biological regulation. Sources like IRT and Fluent Health really hammer this home. It's literally telling your body, okay, it's daytime now, let's get going. So practically, what does that look like right when you wake up? Because I know my first instinct is often to stay burrowed in the dark.
The actual steps are surprisingly simple, but they pack a punch. The moment you wake up, don't linger. Leave the bed, walk over, and open those blinds or curtains immediately. Let the light in.
Thirst yourself out.
Exactly. If your schedule and where you live permit, follow that up with even a short outdoor walk. Seriously, 10–15 minutes can make a huge difference. And even just positioning your main workspace near a window helps maximize that natural light exposure throughout the morning, helping keep your internal biology synced up and keeping you feeling alert. It's all about consciously inviting the light into your environment.
Okay, light and water sorted. Beyond just light, moving your body first thing offers this huge range of benefits that go way beyond just physical fitness, right? They really impact your mind and mood, too.
Oh, absolutely. Morning walks, for example, offer really significant, well-documented boosts for mental health. Things like improved self-esteem, a generally more positive mood, and a noticeable reduction in feelings of stress and anxiety.
How does that work?
Well, the physical activity itself helps release endorphins and serotonin. Those are your body's natural mood lifters and stress busters. There are even studies suggesting that regular walking can be a highly effective, natural way to help manage and even prevent symptoms of depression and anxiety. It can act almost like a form of moving meditation.
And moving in the morning has this surprising effect on sleep later on, too. It feels kind of counterintuitive. Using energy early helps you sleep better.
It's a really cool feedback loop. Being active in the morning can actually enhance the effects of melatonin later in the day, making it easier to fall asleep and promoting deeper, more restorative sleep cycles. Plus, the healthy, natural tiredness you feel from that early exercise helps you fall asleep faster and stay asleep more soundly. What's interesting, too, is that even though you're expending physical energy, a good morning walk often leaves you feeling more alert, refreshed, and invigorated. not drained.
That's the weird part.
It creates this positive cycle for your energy levels all day, which then reinforces sticking with the habit. This is something you see celebrated all over places like Reddit forums. People consistently report feeling way more alert and productive after adding morning walks. Like one user, Jake Chelsea, shared their simple routine. Wake up, brush teeth, brisk walk, then shower, a clear, effective pattern.
And stretching. That's another key part of morning movement. There's some fascinating science behind why stretching in the morning is particularly effective, maybe even in ways people don't expect.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Your body, first thing in the morning, is actually kind of primed for flexibility in a unique way.
Also,
When you first wake up, your body is generally in a more relaxed parasympathetic state that's the rest and digest mode. This is actually perfect for gentle stretching and mobility work. Your nervous system is calm, your stress hormone levels are typically at their lowest after sleep, and your connective tissues are often more pliable.
so you don't need a big warm-up first.
Not necessarily for certain types of stretching. It actually goes against the common belief that you absolutely must do a vigorous warm-up before any stretching. For specific flexibility goals, your body might be more receptive and less resistant in its cooler, more relaxed morning state.
That's wild. So the fascia, the connective tissue stuff, that also responds differently in the morning?
It does seem to. Think of your fascia as this incredibly complex, interwoven web of connective tissue that wraps around literally everything in your body, muscles, organs, bones. Kind of like the white pith around an orange segment, or maybe like cling film holding a gift basket together.
Got it.
In the morning, before you fully kick your fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system into gear with things like rushing around or maybe that first hit of caffeine, your fascial system is generally in a more relaxed, hydrated state. It seems to respond best to slow, gentle, sustained stretches. Quick, jerky, forceful movements, especially when the tissue is cold, might actually cause it to tighten up, making it less pliable and potentially even being counterproductive for its long-term health and mobility.
So slow and gentle is key for morning fascia stretching.
Exactly. You're leveraging your body's natural calm state to potentially improve its structural integrity and range of motion. And here's another cool synergy. Stretching before your coffee might actually help your body utilize the caffeine more effectively.
Really? How?
It could help distribute it more evenly throughout your system, potentially reducing those jittery feelings some people get. It promotes a more mindful approach to your caffeine intake, making it less of a desperate gulp for energy and more like an enhancement to an already pleasant state of natural alertness you've cultivated through movement and light.
Okay, so beyond just generally moving, what are some practical different ideas for listeners to actually weave movement into their mornings, considering everyone has different lives and preferences?
Well, morning walks, as we keep coming back to, are just fantastic. They're accessible, you get the light exposure, you can connect with nature, or even make it social by catching up with friends. Inviting a walking partner can be a huge motivator.
The accountability factor.
Absolutely. Knowing someone is counting on you really helps drag you out of bed on those tougher mornings, and it provides that vital sense of community. For people stuck at desks all day or short on time, desk exercise routines are great. These are simple, effective stretches you can do right at your desk.
Desk exercise. Love it.
They help relieve stiffness, prevent common problems like neck and shoulder pain, lower back issues, and even reduce stress buildup. But the really crucial takeaway, stressed by experts like orthosports physiotherapy, is that any stretching or exercise routine should be personalized. It needs to be tailored to your individual activity level, your body type, your specific needs, not some generic cookie-cutter approach.
Right.
Proper fitness programming involves setting those SMART goals we mentioned, specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, timely, and then building up gradually through progressive training. It's all about finding what truly works for your body and your life and sticking with it safely.
And we can't really talk about intense morning routines without bringing up the legend himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. His approach to morning movement is just next level.
Yeah, The Rock. Yes, his routine is definitely at the extreme end of the spectrum. It's a powerful testament to what's possible for a highly trained, dedicated athlete. He's famous for waking up at like 3:30 a.m.
Okay.
for a 45-minute run, often apparently on only 3 to 5 hours of sleep. And before he eats anything, he says he does it to wake up his body, get his cardio done, and prepare for the insane demands of his day.
But we just say how crucial sleep is.
Exactly. And that's the critical point here. While his routine shows incredible dedication to morning movement, it starkly contrasts with our earlier discussion about the non-negotiable need for adequate sleep. Surviving consistently on just 3 to 5 hours, as our sources clearly indicate, would lead to stress, chronic tiredness, cognitive decline, and anger for most people. The Rock has unique physiology, an extremely demanding training schedule, and likely incredibly optimized recovery strategies that might allow him to function like this. But for the vast majority of us, sacrificing essential sleep for an ultra-early, intense workout would actually be counterproductive to the very goals we're aiming for: sustained energy, focus, well-being.
So it's a good example of tailoring what works for him isn't a template for everyone.
Precisely. It powerfully illustrates the need for custom tailoring. Individual needs, recovery capacity, and overall lifestyle have to be the primary considerations. His routine is awe-inspiring in its discipline, but not necessarily a healthy blueprint for the average person.
Okay, shifting from the body to the mind. Another absolutely crucial component for a powerful morning is intentionally cultivating mindfulness and reflection. For a lot of us, the real challenge isn't gravity or hunger, it's the mental clutter, right? That endless to-do list that starts spinning the second we wake up. It's about getting mental clarity, not just physical readiness.
You've captured that perfectly. Morning meditation is widely seen as a key, almost essential practice for really setting your day up for success. It can profoundly help foster a positive, focused, and resilient mental state right from the start.
Why is morning best for meditation?
Well, the early morning, often before the general chaos of the day kicks in, is naturally a quieter time. This makes it uniquely suited for just sitting with your thoughts, practicing deep breathing, engaging in relaxation techniques, managing stress before it builds, as sources like Healthline and Asana recommend. It's a deliberate act of choosing your internal weather before the external storms hit.
And beyond just sitting quietly, how can we actively engage our minds in reflection and setting intentions, making sure we're directing our thoughts, not just being carried along by them?
Morning journaling is an excellent, highly effective way to do just that: set clear intentions and gain real clarity. It provides this dedicated private space where you can reflect on your goals, articulate what you value, and prioritize what truly matters for the day ahead.
Like, what kind of things would you write?
You can make it very concrete and actionable by using specific, targeted journal prompts. For instance, what are the 3 most important things I want to achieve today, and why do they matter? Or, what specific actions can I prioritize today to move closer to my bigger long-term goals? Maybe, how can I manage my time better today and proactively avoid my usual distractions? Or even digging deeper, what limiting beliefs might be holding me back right now, and how can I start to challenge them? These kinds of prompts, like those suggested in 52 reflective prompts, make journaling incredibly goal-focused and empowering.
And even just simple positive self-talk or focusing on gratitude, that can make a big difference too, right?
Absolutely. Intentionally incorporating positive affirmations, whether you say them out loud, think them, or write them down, can powerfully shift your mindset towards a more positive and resilient outlook. Simple but potent statements like, I am excited about today and its possibilities, or I am grateful for my job and the contribution I can make, can consciously reinforce a healthy, optimistic perspective. And we see this in practice with successful people. We mentioned Kat Nooney consciously delaying her phone check until her brain is fully booted up. Others, like the team behind Life Less Bullshit, have a mindful ritual of making peppermint tea and dedicating a focused hour to writing or creative work before tackling the day's bigger demands. These are all intentional, mindful practices. They prioritize building internal clarity and self-direction before getting swamped by external input.
Okay, now let's circle back to the fuel. The essential stuff that powers both the mind and the body. Breakfast. Even with all the different diet trends, it's still often called the most important meal. Does the science still strongly support that?
Yeah, it really does. That old adage still holds significant weight. A nutritious breakfast genuinely fuels both your body and your mind. It provides the sustained energy and essential nutrients you need for optimal focus, concentration, and performance throughout the day. Both Rush University Medical Center and the platform Lemon 8 really emphasize this critical role.
It helps you think better.
Definitely. Beyond just basic energy, breakfast has a tangible, measurable, positive impact on cognitive activity. We're talking increased concentration, improved verbal memory, better spatial memory, even performing better on mathematical tasks. And these cognitive benefits often become even more noticeable later in the morning, showing that breakfast has real staying power.
Interesting.
There are even studies showing that kids who consistently eat breakfast actually require less mental effort to solve problems. So it really highlights breakfast's foundational role in supporting cognitive function right across the lifespan.
So it really is setting yourself up for mental success from the start. Given that, what should we be aiming for nutritionally in that first meal?
The recommendation is pretty clear and consistent. You want a balanced mix of macronutrients. That means high-quality proteins, healthy fats, and fiber-rich, complex carbohydrates.
Okay, the big three.
Exactly. Think about things like lower sugar, whole grain cereals, or a good bowl of porridge, maybe some wholemeal toast. Lemonade has tons of great appealing ideas. Fluffy omelets loaded with vegetables, vibrant granola bowls with Greek yogurt and fresh fruit, satisfying whole grain breakfast sandwiches, nutritious smoothie bowls boosted with nuts and seeds, or even well-made whole grain pancakes or waffles.
Sounds good.
We heard Emily's routine earlier, mentioning eggs and coffee. That's a great, simple example of protein plus a stimulant. The key is combining ingredients that provide slow release, sustained energy, and help keep your blood sugar levels stable, avoiding those sharp peaks and crashes.
And just as important as what to eat, expert, is probably what not to eat, right? What should we be careful about to make sure our breakfast isn't actually working against our long-term brain health?
That is such a critical distinction. There's growing and quite compelling evidence suggesting that diets consistently high in unhealthy fats and refined sugars, often called HFS diets, can have significant negative long-term impacts on brain function,
Like how?
particularly affecting memory. And there's even concern they might contribute to the development of neurodegenerative conditions down the line. So while an occasional pastry or sugary cereal isn't the end of the world, making those high-sugar, high-fat options your daily go-to for breakfast could literally be detrimental to your brain health over time. It's really crucial to be mindful of those choices and prioritize nutrient-dense options most days.
Good reminder.
And we should also just quickly acknowledge, that breakfast habits look really different around the world. But the fundamental importance of that first meal as a kickstart to the day, that seems to be a constant across diverse cultures, as the editorial Breakfast Around the Globe points out.
Speaking of intense breakfast, we have to bring The Rock back into this one more time because his breakfast absolutely matches his workout intensity. He definitely doesn't do things by halves.
No, he certainly does not skip breakfast, nor does he eat lightly. After that insane 3:30 a.m. run, The Rock reportedly eats a truly enormous breakfast around 4:30 a.m., often things like huge stacks of protein pancakes, maybe even steak.
Steak for breakfast. Wow.
He's famously known to consume something like 6,000 calories a day to fuel his incredibly rigorous workout schedule and maintain that physique. It's a powerful illustration of how high-performance individuals with extreme physical demands meticulously align their nutrition with their training. There's absolutely no room for cutting corners on fuel, even super early in the morning. It's a precise science for him.
Okay. Beyond fueling the body and setting intentions, many incredibly successful people deliberately carve out dedicated time for focused, productive, and creative work right within their morning routine. It's about consciously grabbing that first energy of the day before the world starts making demands.
This is such a powerful concept, often talked about as capturing your peak mental hours or golden hours. Salman Rushdie, the author, is famously known for going straight to his office to write, still in his pajamas, basically as soon as he wakes up.
Really, no coffee first.
Apparently not. He talks about believing there's this little package of creative energy nourished by sleep that he doesn't want to waste on anything else, not even brushing his teeth initially. He dedicates a focused hour or two purely to writing before engaging with the rest of the world. It's a perfect example of capturing that fresh, undisturbed, highly creative mental state for deep, meaningful work.
So it's fundamentally about protecting that quiet, focused time before things get noisy and demanding.
Yeah.
And that idea seems to resonate across different fields and even different centuries.
Exactly. Many successful writers and thinkers throughout history, people like H.P. Lovecraft or Honoré de Balzac, were huge proponents of working either extremely early in the morning or very late at night. Specifically, they sought out times when, as Lovecraft put it, the objective world has slunk back into its cavern.
Wow, poetic.
Isn't it? They found that inspiration and certain creative capabilities were just impossible at any less magical and quiet hour. They meticulously used those silent, undisturbed periods. Artists have done this too. Andrew Wyeth, for example, was known for working incredibly fast, sometimes finishing a whole painting in just hours. He'd even tape cardboard to his glasses to block out visual distractions if he felt stuck.
Dedication.
And while Willem de Kooning famously said he wasn't a morning person, he'd still get up around 10 or 11 a.m., drink incredibly strong coffee, and then immerse himself totally in painting for the rest of the day. So even for him, it was about carving out that dedicated, focused, uninterrupted time for his core creative work.
It sounds like this requires not just discipline, but a really strategic choice about what you actually do during this vital window.
It absolutely does. Strategic planning is the key enabler here. We mentioned Kat Nooney earlier. She meticulously organizes her to-do list. She prioritizes, adds things, checks things off right as her workday officially begins. This deliberate, proactive planning helps her focus her energy effectively from the get-go, making sure her most important tasks get her freshest thinking.
Right.
And in our modern world, tools are even evolving to help support this kind of deep work. We're seeing things like Flocks pop up. These are essentially digital co-working spaces designed specifically to eliminate distractions and really enhance deep, focused work. They provide a kind of structured, quiet environment for productivity, especially useful during those crucial morning hours.
And finally, a truly mindful and powerful morning isn't just about solitary tasks or individual work, is it? It's also about making space for continuous learning and even genuine social connection.
Absolutely. The morning can be a fantastic time for intellectual nourishment and strengthening relationships. For learning, maybe you subscribe to a podcast like this one, hopefully, that encourages self-improvement or professional growth. Listening first thing can provide really valuable inspiration and help reinforce the direction you want to head in, as Asana suggests.
Plug.
Well, beyond specific professional goals, just allocating some time for reading curated information, maybe from RSS feeds, or keeping a simple morning diary like some successful people do, can be a really rich source of ongoing learning and valuable reflection.
The connection part.
On a more personal, emotional level, making a conscious effort to actually speak to loved ones in the morning, whether you live with them or need to make a call, can significantly boost your mood and encourage a positive mindset. It reinforces that sense of connection. And we touched on this with movement, but remember the walking partner. That's not just about motivation for the walk itself. It's a vital source of real community and shared experience. That feeling of someone counting on you, someone to share the morning with, can be a huge driver, especially on days when you feel less motivated internally. #, strategies for building and sustaining your routine.
Okay, we have covered a truly massive amount of ground today. Wow. From the tiny details of brain chemistry right when you wake up, through all the common traps that can mess up our mornings, and then into this really rich array of practical, actionable things that make up a powerful routine. So now, the million-dollar question, the one I know everyone's thinking, how do we actually build this kind of transformative routine? And maybe even more importantly, how do we sustain it in our already packed, busy lives? It seems like it has to start with something simple, something maybe we overlook. Just start small, but be relentlessly consistent.
This is absolutely fundamentally crucial, and it's often where people stumble. Instead of trying to do this massive, complete overhaul overnight, which just feels daunting and totally unsustainable for most people, the most effective approach is always to begin with incredibly small, manageable, consistent changes.
Like really small.
Yes, ridiculously small sometimes. Observing how your mornings gradually, maybe almost imperceptibly at first, start to transform over time. That process itself can be incredibly motivating. It makes the whole thing feel achievable, like you're building momentum, not trying to conquer an impossible mountain in one go. It's about stacking small wins.
And we can't expect it to be perfect right away, can we? It takes real time for these new actions to actually stick, for them to go from feeling like hard work to just being automatic habit.
Exactly. It is so vital to emphasize that creating a personalized routine that actually works for you is an iterative process. It almost always involves a fair amount of trial and error.
Hmm.
You have to give the routine time to settle in. You need time to observe its real impact and time for those new behaviors to become truly regular, deeply ingrained habits. And this need for patience, it isn't just like a nice suggestion, it's backed by hard science. Remember, we talked about neuroplasticity
All
earlier.
right, the brain changing itself.
Your brain literally forms new habits through repetition. It's physically rewiring itself. Knowing this scientific fact offers huge encouragement for sticking with those small, sometimes tedious, incremental steps. You know that you're quite literally building new neural pathways with every single consistent action you take. It's powerful validation for your effort.
Okay, building on that consistency, one of the most impactful strategies isn't just about what you do in the morning, but what you carefully prepare the night before. The power of planning ahead feels almost like a cheat code for having a great morning.
It genuinely is like a cheat code. As that timeless saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. You see this with highly successful people. Think of someone like Jeff Bezos. They approach their days with incredible intention. They set clearly defined goals sometimes. Bezos apparently aimed for just 3 good decisions a day, focusing on what they really want to achieve. This proactive, intentional planning the night before absolutely sets the stage for a successful, much less frantic morning. You're basically preloading your success.
So an evening routine is actually like the foundation for your morning routine.
Got
Totally linked.
inextricably linked. We strongly recommend dedicating, just say, 15 focused minutes each evening to make a concise, actionable list of tasks for the next day.
Just 15 minutes.
Yeah, keep it focused. This list should include your top work priorities, but also essential personal chores. Things like laying out your clothes for the next day, prepping your lunch, maybe even tidying your workspace so it's ready to go.
The simple stuff.
It sounds simple, but this nightly preparation profoundly streamlines the entire morning process. It saves precious time, yes, but it also significantly reduces morning stress. It prevents that frantic searching for keys or a clean shirt. It helps avoid waking others up unnecessarily. As sources like Balance Through Simplicity and Very Well Mind highlight, it fundamentally removes decision fatigue from your morning equation. This frees up your fresh willpower and mental energy to be directed towards the things that actually matter most.
And once you have that plan, that kind of roadmap from the night before, how do you make sure you're using your morning time not just efficiently, but really effectively? Prioritizing what's going to move the needle the most. It really boils down to disciplined time management and smart prioritization.
It really does. First, a really powerful strategy is working backward. Start by clearly defining what you want to achieve in your ideal morning. How do you want to feel? What specific actions do you want to complete? Then work backward from that vision to figure out an appropriate, realistic wake-up time, making sure you build in enough buffer time for each part of your routine.
So you're designing it intentionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This intentional approach, championed by places like Balance Through Simplicity, ensures you're not just waking up early for the sake of it, but waking up with a real sense of purpose and a clear path to achieve what you set out to do.
That clarity must be incredibly powerful for cutting through that morning fog, that feeling of just drifting into the day without direction.
It's completely transformative. When you know precisely what needs to get done and roughly when, you effectively eliminate wasting time wondering, okay, what should I work on next? This upfront clarity and focus dramatically boosts your efficiency and guarantees you're leveraging your peak morning energy wisely.
Right.
And to really maximize that impact, we absolutely have to re-emphasize the strategy of identifying your most important task, your MIT for the day, and tackling it first. That eat your biggest frog concept.
Eat the frog.
Doing this ensures your most critical, high-leverage work gets done before distractions inevitably creep in, before other people start making demands on your time, and crucially, before your finite supply of willpower starts to dwindle later in the day. It's like launching a strategic first strike on your day's biggest priorities.
Consistency is obviously crucial for habits, but let's be real. Staying motivated all the time is hard. Life happens. Things get in the way. That's where accountability and having strong support systems can really make a difference, turning it from just your individual effort into something more like collective momentum.
Indeed. And this isn't just anecdotal. One of the most powerful, evidence-backed methods for building and cementing new habits is diligently tracking whether you actually complete them.
Like ticking boxes.
Yeah, basically, keeping yourself visibly accountable, whether it's a simple check mark in a journal or using an app, significantly increases your chances of long-term success. It makes the abstract goal of being consistent really concrete and measurable. You can see the chains forming.
Are there good tools for that?
Absolutely. There are some highly effective data-driven tools specifically designed for this. Habit tracker apps like Habitify, which is great because it works across iOS, Android, Mac, and the web, or Strides, which is popular on iOS. These give you a visual, data-driven way to approach habit building. You can clearly see your progress, identify patterns or streaks, and that visual feedback really reinforces your efforts.
And it's not just about tracking yourself, right? Having other people involved, knowing someone else is in your corner, or even depending on you, that can be hugely motivating too.
It's a profound human driver. The power of shared goals and social connection is immense. We talked about the walking partner earlier that can provide incredibly powerful motivation. Just the simple, palpable sense that someone is counting on you really does help haul you out of bed, especially on those cold, dark, or just plain blah mornings.
Yeah, I can see that.
And beyond the motivation, walking together can also be a vital source of genuine community and connection, fulfilling that fundamental human need for belonging. Outside of that, online communities like you find on Reddit in really vibrant productivity or habit-building forums frequently suggest forming support groups. They highlight the deep importance of community for overall well-being and achieving goals. Just knowing you're not alone in the struggle, that others are on a similar path, can make a massive difference in staying committed when things get tough.
And finally, because life inevitably throws curveballs, because we're human and not robots, we absolutely need to talk about embracing flexibility and, maybe most importantly, self-compassion. Nobody nails it perfectly every single day. Routines, no matter how powerful, aren't meant to be these rigid, unforgiving prisons.
That is arguably the most vital piece for making any routine sustainable in the long run. It is absolutely crucial to be kind and patient with yourself. Learning to meditate, building new habits, these are not linear paths with guaranteed success at every step. They are dynamic processes. They involve discovery, adaptation, continuous learning, and yes, sometimes falling flat on your face.
Yes.
It's perfectly okay. In fact, it's necessary to figure things out as you go, to stumble, to recalibrate, and to adjust your routine when life circumstances change. The ultimate goal should always be consistent progress over time, not some unattainable state of absolute perfection. Rigidity almost always leads to burnout and abandonment.
So when those inevitable slip-ups happen when we miss a day, or maybe completely fall off the wagon for a bit,
Yes.
what's the best way to handle that? How do we stop one misstep from making us feel like the whole thing is ruined and we should just give up?
The slip-up recovery. When you slip up, and let's be clear, you will slip up, self-compassion is paramount. The absolute worst thing you can do is fall into that destructive, all or nothing thinking.
Right. I missed today, so the whole week is shot.
Exactly. That mentality can tragically lead you to dig what Reddit users in self-improvement forums eloquently call a bigger hole of discouragement, eventually leading to giving up entirely. Instead, they suggest a much healthier, tiered approach to habits.
Tiered habits. What's that?
It means identifying your core non-negotiable habits, the absolute essentials for you. Then maybe you have secondary, nice-to-have habits, maybe even tertiary ones. The key is, if you miss a less critical secondary habit, it doesn't negate the success of completing your core ones.
So you still get credit for the main stuff.
Precisely. This powerful perspective helps you stay on track mentally. It prevents a single misstep on a smaller habit from unraveling your entire, carefully built routine. It fosters resilience and makes it much easier to get back on track the next day. It's all about gracefully returning to your path after a detour, rather than seeing that detour as the absolute end of the journey. #, outro.
Wow. Okay. We have journeyed through an incredibly rich, detailed landscape today, haven't we? Seriously. From the intricate, unseen science happening in your brain the moment you wake up, exploring all those common pitfalls that can so easily trip us up, all the way to uncovering this amazing, diverse tapestry of practical, actionable components. Everything from just drinking water, which sounds so simple but is so key, right through to carving out time for deep, focused work that fuels creativity and purpose.
It's been quite the exploration.
It really has. We've pulled insights from, like, ancient wisdom and cutting-edge neuroscience, from regular people just trying to navigate busy lives, all the way to the super detailed habits of billionaires and world-class athletes. What feels crystal clear to me now is that an intentional, thoughtfully crafted morning, it isn't some kind of luxury item. It's a strategic, invaluable advantage for your mental clarity, your physical health, your emotional resilience, and yeah, ultimately for the overall impact you have on your day and the world around you.
And if we try to connect all these fascinating threads back to the bigger picture, what this deep dive really does is powerfully reinforce your own incredible agency, your ability to actively sculpt your day, to consciously compose your life, starting with those first few hours.
Yeah.
Remember that great line from early Torais? It's not really about the exact hour you get up, but much more about what you intentionally do with the hours that you are up.
That's the core of it.
Absolutely. This deep dive has essentially laid out a comprehensive, diverse menu of possibilities for you. We've looked at everything from tiny neurochemical shifts right up to the grand routines of highly successful people. The real power truly lies entirely in your hands now. The power to select what genuinely resonates with you, what aligns with your unique biology, your personality, your lifestyle, and then crucially, to commit to those small, consistent, intentional changes. That right there, that's where the genuine magic of transformation really happens.
So, as you go about the rest of your day to day, and maybe especially as you think about tomorrow morning, consider this deeply. Knowing what you know now, understanding the profound, undeniable ripple effect that your morning has on every single aspect of your day, from your immediate focus and mood right through to your long-term goals and overall sense of well-being. What is one small, intentional shift you will make to your morning routine starting tomorrow to truly begin composing your perfect day? Don't feel pressure to do everything at once, just one thing. Experiment with it. Observe how it feels. And most importantly, celebrate the journey of discovery within your own mornings. Thank you so much for joining us for this truly transformative deep dive.